is unproblematic. However, it has been tarnished by elites who have abused it. Motlanthe has come out in support of the policy as it faces domestic and international pressure to be scrapped. The former president has been participating at the Frank Dialogue event discussing the legacy and future of BBEE. Thabiso Goba reports.
Former Statistician General Badili Hutla made a passionate argument backed by data that racial inequalities in the country have been further entrenched since the turn of democracy.
And the question is, what is BEE doing? I'm putting a mega challenge, not small inputs into BEE 111. No.
Former State President Kgalema Motlanthe says transformation policies like BBEE have moved the needle a bit. However, much more needs to be done to close the racial economic gaps.
The problem, however, is not the principle of BBEE. It is the practice, the repeated selection of a small elite.
A representative from the Afrikaans movement Solidarity says BBEE has not worked and must be replaced with a better affirmative action policy. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
And a newly elected German town mayor has been badly wounded in a stabbing attack today. The country's Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, condemned the stabbing as a heinous act. The attack on Mayor-elect Iris Stalzer took place shortly afternoon near her home. The details of the attack or suspected motive are not known, as local police have not yet issued a statement. Stalzer, a member of the centre-left Social Democratic Party, had just been elected mayor of a local town 2 weeks ago. A partly cloudy Wednesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, with isolated showers and thundershowers expected. Joburg drops to overnight lows of 15 degrees, peaking at highs of 26, Pretoria 16 and 30, Vereeniging 10 and 27. Monkey Ziko Go, Eyewitness News.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind and execution.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Great show as always, Rob.
Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Great show as always. Thanks.
Great show as always.
Great show as always, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the wonderful show, Robert. Thank you so much. It always gives me pleasure to speak to someone who's got such an insight.
I love the introduction.
Hey, what is show Marawa?
I don't know, maybe you are still calling Mr. Majuputu, or maybe that does not exist.
Show Robbie.
Star Robs. I am a Pogo. It was like 1996 Star Robs.
Omunye umuntu esicela ukukhuluma ngaye Sasha Feinberg Mngomezulu.
Now Feinberg Mngomezulu with the cross kick for Kobe.
Usenza thina who are not huge rugby fans, but usenza sibe ama-rugby fans wamampela.
And you need that. Also just somebody to inspire the youth, young people to want to play rugby, to want to be as talented as him.
I've wore this jersey when nobody wanted to watch us play and when it was hard to get a win, and now at this moment, it's no matter how tough it is in the game, we know how to win.
Yeah, that's Siya Kolisi, the Springbok captain, just basically outlining how Coach Rassie Erasmus has given the squad unbreakable belief.
But this is all about the Springboks. Back-to-back Rugby Championship titles for the very first time.
And also let me congratulate Coach Raymond Mdaka and his troops for reaching the knockout stages in the ongoing FIFA World Cup. I'm really impressed with the boys, Mr. Marawa. More especially by defeating big guns like USA. They did a sensational job, Mr. Marawa.
Wonderful entertainment in Chile. South Africa 2, USA 1.
Khona umfana omncane igama lakhe uMbekezeli ngesibongo bathi wakambokazi.
What's your thoughts? Why are you always asking our thoughts?
Worldwide. Well, pardon that voice in the background.
Bobani benga thinta maphubezi wemame.
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Oh, you can tell it's going to be very heated in studio. It is the Room Dividers today. But more than anything else, Marawa Sports Worldwide is proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
Let's go! The moments you remember. The games you can't forget. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets.
All right, so busy. Hey, send us those WhatsApp voice notes, call directly into studio. We would love to hear from you after that weekend. Back-to-back champions. And somebody has said bok-to-bok champions. So whichever phrase you want to use, it's the same thing. It just means that we are champions and we can't stop winning. So the Room Dividers on Marawa Sports Worldwide. Proudly brought to you by F&B, from grassroots to greatness. Live on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. Welcome to the show. And tonight we're going to be turning our attention, before we chat about the box, to one of the powerhouses of the front row. I mean, we talk about a man that's built for the scrum war, somebody who's forged in the fires of Johannesburg rugby. The pride of the Lions, and a Springbok on the rise as well. I mean, he's fresh from that bruising domestic campaign that saw the Lions fall just short in the Currie Cup final against the Griquas. Now he is on the road with the Lions, though, in the United Rugby Championship. And they're going to be fighting now to turn things around after two very, very tough opening losses. And also gearing up, though, for a massive clash this weekend against Benetton. Benetton Rugby in Italy. But beyond the Lions tour, I mean, he's also very, very proud to witness South Africa, the rising glory, watching the Springboks lifting the Rugby Championship trophy once again. So joining the Room Dividers live, the Lions and Springbok prop forward Asanati Ntlabaganye coming through from Italy. Asanati, good to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Traveled well, feeling strong?
Yeah, it's been a tough 2 weeks, but the travel has been good. Yeah, we're settling in Italy.
So I don't know if you guys arrived before or after the Springbok game. I don't know where you were when all of us were watching it, but it must have given you an internal sense of pride, man, just watching like everybody around the world, South Africa, I won't say dominate, but show their brutal force and say that they can retain and are champions again.
Yeah, we certainly watched on Saturday because our game was on Sunday. So it was something special to watch, and having been part of that group as well this year, so it was a good watch for the guys.
What in particular made you very proud, though? Number one, of the outcome, but also just of the play all round.
I just think the way of play at the moment. I think the way we move the ball around, and then we're also sticking to our DNA, which is scrumming, mauling, which is things that we've always been good at.
And was there a time where you thought, oh my goodness, have we let it go?
Yeah, it got a bit nervy at the end. Obviously, we always knew Argentina was going to come back and obviously react from that loss that they got in Durban. So good character shown by the Boks to fight back after Argentina started very well.
And I mean, somebody who's a front rower yourself, I mean, what stood out about the box scrum and also the set piece dominance?
No, look, there was a stage where I think we put Peter Steve to toy at 9. And we had 7 forwards in the scrum. So that just shows to you the confidence we have in our scrum. So it's a massive weapon for the Boks, and it's one that's very lethal.
Yeah, I know we don't have too much time with you, but I want to quickly go back to that tough Currie Cup final against the Griquas. How do you look back on that? I know that it was a tough game. There was a lot of expectation from the Lions. Didn't quite work out.
Yeah, it was a tough year, Rob. I think if you look back last year and if you look back again this year, again, you look exactly how we lost the final last year, and this year is pretty much the same. So I think massive learnings, but I think there's a new campaign now for us to focus on, which is rugby affords you that to play every weekend. So we focus on the next campaign.
I got the famed Room Dividers here with me in studio. Mike Greenaway as well as Tando Manana. Mike Greenaway wants to shoot first.
Yeah, Sanati, Mike here. You alluded to those two Currie Cup final defeats in the last minutes, and I speak for your fans. It's kind of like a deja vu, Groundhog Day, and yet we saw it again against Zebri at the weekend, where you guys once more seem to have a game won, and then it kind of got away from you, almost kind of like shot yourselves in the foot, conspired against yourselves, rather. Is that something that is becoming a little bit of a frustration for you guys? How you lose at the death when it seems like you've won?
Yeah, it is frustrating, I must say. But like I said, we have to kind of learn quickly at this stage. I think when you play against teams like Zebra or Billiton, it's internationals you're playing against. So we need to learn quickly and to adjust as well.
Mike and Manana. Hey, sounds like a franchise.
Asi, let me start saying congratulations so far. I think you've done tremendous work. You've worked really hard on your game, and it has proven and shown. Just one thing from me is, obviously teams, especially in the URC, are always measured by how well they traveled. And just you guys on the road. Can you just give, us and the listeners just a sense of toughness when you're on the road and what you guys really and how you plan in terms of planning for each and every game away from home?
Yeah, look, I must say, coming to Europe it is very, very difficult. Regardless of the team that you play, like you look at last week, you would have thought, it's an easy one for the Lions. But to be fair, the Zebra started very well. They beat Edinburgh at home, and we also knew we were under no illusion that it's going to be an easy game. But like I said, traveling here is different conditions. The crowd is different, so. It's very different, man.
Yeah. Good luck for the game against Benetton, and we'll see you at the Jackskia Derby.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mike. All right. Mike seems to be very shy. Asanati, what are you doing to him?
Yeah. What I want to know is look, something is happening in Italian rugby. We've seen Zebri now, who were the bottom dwellers for so long, suddenly they're unbeaten. We've got Leinster who've lost 2 games. We've got Zebri who've won 2 games. What's happening in the URC? But, we also saw the Italians really push the Springboks in South Africa. What is your thoughts just on what is happening in Italian rugby as you approach Benetton?
Yeah, look, I think looking at Billiton especially, I think most of the players play for the Italy team, so they came down in Pretoria and PE, gave us a hard time as a Springbok. So we know as a Lions now what we're going to be facing this weekend. It's just a team full of international, and they're really on the up at the moment.
You've highlighted the issue of European challenge. Everybody talks about the travel, the conditions, the physicality. And it tests a lot of South Africans and South African teams, whether it's franchise rugby or within the national teams. And like Mike said, you're there in Italy. But for you, just personally, how do you stay mentally strong and motivated when especially results don't come your way?
Yeah, Robert, it is quite difficult, but I think you have to focus on the next task at hand. But still take learnings from whatever game you've played previously. But you need to learn to move on quickly to the next task. Yeah.
And just Mike, go ahead.
No, Asanati, what do you see actually in how Benetton play? They've really, they got into the top 8 last year. What is it that they are doing right? What is it that you guys are planning for?
I think if you look at all the European teams, I think breakdown is such a massive thing. I think they're very good at that. And also the kicking game is, they play test match rugby. So we need to be able to manage that. I know we want to play flashy rugby, but we also need to kind of play test match rugby as well when it's needed.
All right. So our listeners who are listening to this conversation just sent 5 quick fire round questions for you. Just one-word answers. You know how it works here, Asanati. So nothing changes, my friend. The toughest prop that you've scrummed against is who?
It remains Ox.
Pre-match meal of choice?
Lasagna.
Okay. Well, favorite rugby stadium to play in?
It has to be Gqeberha because I made my debut there.
Okay, all right. Gqeberha there. Your teammate who's most likely to make you laugh in the dressing room.
Reinhard Jonker.
Loudest guy on tour.
Nico Stein.
My question is best and worst roommate on the away trips.
I'll say Reinhard Jonker as well.
Best and worst.
Yes.
And who's the DJ?
Chasey Pretorius and myself, yeah.
Okay, what are you playing?
We gotta mix it up, bro. So he plays the Afrikaans music, I play my piano and R&B. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I look forward to you coming here to DJ in our studios when you're back from tour. Asanati, we just wanted to say, Ben, you know what? Good luck for the weekend and also good luck as well for the journey ahead. You continue to be one of our shining stars when it comes to rugby in South Africa, and best of luck.
Appreciate it, Rob. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, that's Asanati Ntlabaganye joining us right here on #MSW. Right now, though, Manana was calling it the main course.
Dividing public opinion.
Are they empowering?
And setting the rugby agenda.
Do not forget where your history South Africa is. The enemy's desire is to try and erase it.
Welcome. You're with the Room Dividers.
All right, I can see the WhatsApp voice notes already starting to come through beautifully. Now the Room Dividers are back, as they usually do on a Tuesday, ready to tackle one of the most seismic shake-ups in world rugby. I mean, we've just witnessed the most competitive rugby championship since Argentina joined the Tri-Nations back in 2012. I think if you look at a couple of these here, drama, dominance, down to the wire battles, they all were there. So the big question is, why tinker with it now? So next year, and that's where we want to start, guys, SANZAAR has decided to shelve the Rugby Championship to make way for what they're calling New Zealand's greatest rivalry tour. So 8 games, 3 tests, all in South Africa. Then comes the 2027 World Cup. And also in 2029, the Boks are going to be heading to New Zealand for their return leg. Now, this is pretty bold. It's a bold move. I don't know if it's bold or it's a master stroke or is it absolute madness. I don't know where you feature in terms of it. I mean, are the Wallabies and the Pumas being left out in the cold while South Africa and New Zealand go it alone? I mean, could a February-March Rugby Championship maybe running alongside the Six Nations be the perfect solution? Let's not forget, guys. I mean, Rassie isn't chasing all the victories, is he? I don't know if he's chasing number 1 or he's chasing the World Cup. Mike Greenaway, Tanda Manana is here, scratching himself for answers. Let's put the perspective right. Scratching his head for the answers here. Mike, as we head to the break, when they say no Rugby Championship next season, does it excite you or does it make you ask more questions?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think there's red faces at SANZAAR, of course, South Africa, New Zealand, Argentina, the governing body. And I think what happened is a year or so ago when Australia and Argentina were still struggling a bit and South Africa and New Zealand were shooting the lights out. There was this behind-the-scenes sort of discussion to have what they've called the greatest rivalry series, and it involves New Zealand coming to South Africa, and they're playing 3 tests, 5 midweek games, and then there'll be a return leg a couple of years after. And that, of course, is then going to put the Rugby Championship on hold. At that stage, Australia were really struggling. The Pumas weren't shooting the lights out. So they've gone ahead and they've arranged to have this greatest rivalry tour. But what has happened now this year is the Wallabies have come good. The Pumas have come good. Suddenly, the Rugby Championship is probably the most competitive it's ever been, certainly even going back to the Tri-Nations days. And now Australia and Argentina are saying, well, what about us? We've come to the party, and now you've put us on us. Is this fair? So SANZAAR, the greatest rivalry tour is going to happen. But what they haven't come up with is what are we going to do with Australia and Argentina, who now are at the top table and saying, what about us? So they are now behind the scenes going to come up with an alternative, and we're not quite sure what that's going to be. But I think there are red faces at Sanzor right now.
Oh, all right. From red faces to another opinion that's going to be coming up with the former SA Under-23 junior Bark and also Springbok flank, Thando Manana, for his view on what Mike Greenaway says are red faces at Sansa.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live at the same time. #MSW.
Give your family the ultimate surprise. A white Christmas in Shanghai with MG. Test drive the all-new MG3 hatch or the ZS Pro crossover during October and you could win a trip to Disneyland Shanghai this Christmas. Whether you need a sporty car for the city or a practical runabout for your family, there's a new MG for you at a price you can afford. Visit mgmotor.co.za and book your test drive today. MG, since 1924.
Whether it's a business delivery, an entrepreneur sale, or a care package from mom to daughter, PostNet Courier handles it all. But with a difference. We're not just any courier service, we're your PostNet. At PostNet, you know us by name, and we know you. No faceless digital processes, no endless loops with call centers, just real people ready to help. Visit or call your local PostNet and talk to someone you can trust. Because for us, it's not just about getting your package there, it's about being there for you. PostNet Courier delivers, no matter what.
Dlala Madludla, coach. The games are out. Who are you betting on?
Dlala Madlamin, top player. On Sports Stake 4, I'm going with the strongest defense.
Nice one, coach. But I'm going with the goals.
What is that, Coach Amanda? Now it's up to the fans to dala or rather dlala what they must. Dlalu 4.
Sports Stake 4 for only R2. Pick win, lose or draw for 4 games and you could win. Play at any participating National Lottery retailer. Be enjoy a game. Panda, push up, play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Got your attention? That's the power of advertising.
Prime Media is SA's leading media company, giving you unmatched reach across radio, audio, video, and digital. That's what you'll experience at the Prime Impact Sales event.
In Joburg, 3 to 7 November. Cape Town, 10 to 13 November. Register and receive a free demo commercial, a custom campaign, and access to exclusive partnerships.
Seats are filling fast. Register today at primeimpact.co.za.
Business Accelerated means not wasting time. No missed deliveries, lost sales, or competitors that are one step ahead. If you've been trading for 12 months with a turnover of 40K monthly and have a registered business bank account, you could qualify for Vodaland business funding of up to 5 million rand in 24 hours. No paperwork, no queues. That's Business Accelerated. Search Vodaland today. Get a 30-day payment holiday on your first advance, limited to first-time customers. T's and C's apply. Vodacom Financial Services. Further together.
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Wonderful entertainment in Chile. South Africa 2, USA 1.
Coach Raymond Mdaka joins us all the way in Chile. What's going through your mind now ahead of the last 16? And how far, realistically, do you think we can go?
Rob, in this game, but especially in the World Cup, you'll see we have all the countries that you can speak of when you talk of football. But what we always rely on is to say, let's take it a game at once, one at a go, put more effort on one. When we're done on that, we'll focus on the next one. So here we are. We are focusing on playing Colombia. We're just traveling today, tomorrow. Today we'll rest. Tomorrow we'll start preparing. And after dealing with the Colombia match, that's when we can talk about the next match. Rob.
Don't stop believing. South Africa 2, USA 1.
#MSW. #MSW.
The Room Dividers. Zatuma manje.
Catch Room Dividers on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Thando Manana, Mike Greenaway.
Every Tuesday at 6:20 p.m. on 947. This game will always humble you. Vuma FM.
What I'm certain we're going to see now is that the rotation is over.
And Rise FM.
As we celebrate the power of sport and the pride of our nation, FNB proudly backs the Springboks, driving transformation in South African rugby. From grassroots to greatness, from players and coaches to schools and clubs, FNB is inspiring future generations in green and gold. As a proud partner of the Springboks, FNB help changes everything.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to the room dividers. Rob, I just firstly want to congratulate the Springboks for winning back-to-back rugby championship. But Rob, there's one great sports psychologist who once said that winning gives you that chair with a broken leg so that you don't get comfortable. And I think the Springboks are mastering that ideology or the philosophy because they've got this culture of relentless pursuit for excellence, even when the odds are against them. But I think the player who also stood out this past weekend has to be Malcolm Marx. I just want to give him full marks for his performance the past weekend. Thank you so much.
Full marks for Malcolm Marx. Thank you so much, Debocho. I know I owe you a question around the Rugby Championship, but also in a way, I mean, we'll bounce around the different issues here tonight and welcome as many of our calls as possible, the shareholders to give their input. Debocho talks about Malcolm Marx saying that he stood out from the weekend. Two tries apiece. I mean, how many times do you get a brace of tries in a game from the Springboks? What's your take about Malcolm?
Rob, I thought you were going to start with the question before the break, but let me delve into Malcolm Marx. Malcolm Marx, Rob, over the last couple of tests, has played probably the most number of minutes for a Springbok test matches since he ever played from the Lions days into the Bok setup. And that just also tells you that he's just had so much workload. And what sort of now assists him is that he's playing in the Japanese league. So he comes in a little bit fresh, not having played the URC, and he's been able to deliver for us. I think in Durban, he played 70 minutes. He's never played 70 minutes. In fact, when Bongi was on form, he always used to come in second half and finish off the game for us. So it was good to see him he sort of took a lot of jabs, especially in New Zealand, coming from Australia to New Zealand, coming back here. So he owed us that game that he delivered on Saturday. And I mean, if one just sees is that he's one of the performers all round in terms of just carries, steals, and also his line out there for a change was really something that we can marvel upon. And I'm quite happy that players, at least given that opportunities, more game time, they make use of it. What worries me though is that there's not now all of a sudden enough backup at hooker position. So that's why he's playing more. And with the 5 tests coming up, they have to play Bongi and see if he can go all the way to 2027. If not, we've got to bring in the Van der Merwe boy coming in as well, just for us to sort of know who is our top 3. I'm struggling to find the top 3 hookers in South Africa. I can only say Max. And you've got a guy that is Jan Hendricks, who's sort of now in between loose head and hooker. Yeah. We've also got to make a decision on which road he's going to take in the Springbok setup. Is he going to fall in as a hooker, or we're going to use him as a loose or a third loose head in the team, or we're going to keep him as a joker? But in terms of just general play, I thought Marx for me did enough.
Yeah, no, I can just come in there. 100%. The depth at hooker has been under the microscope with Bongi being out of the picture for various reasons, family reasons, injuries. And Malcolm 100% has played a lot more. But yeah, guys, there's a forgotten hooker, a forgotten Springbok. Johan Grobelaar at the Bulls has been playing out of his socks. Just fantastic for the Bulls in the last couple of games. And I think he's putting his hand up and saying, hey, Rassie, don't forget about me. I know, there's question marks about Bongi. How far can he go? Hey, remember me and my red skull cap. I'm here.
Yeah. So do you think, though, he would be an immediate one? Or are we going to go back to the same struggles that we had with Eighth Man, for example?
Look, there's Andre Hugo also coming through. I think Manus van der Merwe, I do believe, had a good rugby championship. That guy is really tough. He's come through the URC in Wales, and he's had quite a lot of game time. So I think the options are not terrible. But I think with Malcolm coming through, the way he has and saying, I'm now the number one, you've given me the minutes, so I put my hand up. It's my position now.
Yeah, but also, Rob, we've got to be honest. Past 2023, the World Cup, we only took 2 hookers. We used Dion Fourie as a 6'2". Yeah. And that's what Ras is going to go to. I think Ras is just ahead of everyone at this stage, where he does not necessarily have to have the 3 scrum halves, the 3 hookers that are sort of... are always going to be on everyone's team sheet. He would want someone to play hooker and also be able to play
sort of to double up.
To double up.
Yeah.
He's done that with Marco van Staden as well. I hear what my colleague is saying here, but we've got to think what Rassie thinks. Rassie thinks I've got to have people that can play both positions in the box setup. If you're able to throw, then you can play hooker. That's what he's doing for now. And I think he's playing to his strength. And therefore, I'm saying is he could 2027 go with just 2 hookers, outright hookers. And then the third one would be someone who can play 6 and can play a 2, like he did with Dion Fourie. Dion Fourie played, remember, he came on as early as the 8th minute in the World Cup when Bongi had that injury in that final, and he took us right through. Although his throwing was not there, but I think for me, they're prepared to risk, they're prepared to go that route, than have 3 outright hookers instead of having 2 with one that can play 6 and 2. That's his thinking, and from what I see from where I sit.
So there's no emergency. I mean, there's no need to cry out. It's something that's going to evolve through time, and if we have to do the double up, we have to do the double up.
Yeah, but also remember, you have Dweba, Exeter Chiefs, made his debut. He's gone away from South Africa to concentrate on his game, but he's not guaranteed that he's going to come back in the Springboks setup. Sure. I think what is good from what Mike is saying is the players just from time to time just keep on performing. That call-up will happen. I mean, many people, you look at the Dupree boys, I don't think for me at one stage they thought they'd come back despite the injury that he suffered, but Rassie sort of called him back, but the injuries held him down there. Now Jasper Visser has grabbed that number 8 jersey and ran away with it. So the opportunity will come, but it just is a matter of when it comes. Are they there and are they prepared for that? Both of these players, Dweba and Grobler, were given the opportunity and they never maximized on it.
Absolutely. Mike, I think in a bolder move as well, and I know he might not be a hooker, it's just that his surname is one of the youngsters. And that's what grabs the conversation to maybe sway in that way, to say, guys, listen, as we've wrapped the Rugby Championship, who of the youngsters really stood out? And you look at the last 3 games and you look at Keenan Moody and what he's done. I mean, these are both 22 and 23-year-olds as well as Ethan Hooker.
Yeah. And we talk about the youngsters that have come through, but what about the old guys? What about 35-year-old Kobus Rhino?
Oh, I don't know what. He was possessed on something over the weekend. My goodness, what a game.
Look, and we talk about Jan Hendrik Wessels, and I think there was a guy who really, I think, learned so much. He's got so much talent, but we saw him also being quite reckless, giving away two penalties that cost us points. There's a guy who will have learned from that. Obviously, we don't have to talk about Sasha Feinberg. We know what he's got. Another lighty that really learned, Keenan Moody, fantastic in Durban. Really not so good in London. Gave away that high tackle where he went in too high, and extremely lucky not to get red carded. So, look, I mean, and let's always remember that. We're talking about number 13 there, talking about Keenan Moody. At the beginning of this season, Jesse Kriel was entrenched at 13. He was the captain of the Springboks for the first couple of games. And then Keenan got his chance and kind of played his way ahead of Jesse. So, youngsters coming through, youngsters that have come through but have also learned. Even Sasha discovered that, look, I mean, and it was only fair. I mean, 10 out of 10 performance in Durban. What are we going to give him? 7 out of 10?
Jeez, I mean, they've given him...
But everyone makes mistakes. So
absolutely.
All the youngsters that have come through have shown what they can do, but have also been brought down to earth to know they can also improve.
Yeah, well, I mean, one major slip-up can cost the team. So be objective here, guys. And I know that it didn't happen. The ref called it the way he called it. And obviously, Keenan Moody didn't get sent off. He didn't get the red. 2 minutes into the game, you get a yellow, sin binned. They score a try. And then I think 30 minutes on, some people say he should have walked. Should he, if you look at it objectively, guys?
Rob, I keep on taking you back 2023.
Yeah.
Are you there?
100%.
Against France. What did Eben do? Near side touchline or far side touchline, where he reached out in a similar fashion but couldn't hold. But it's always about the ball, where the ball is going to. So I thought it was a good decision. Us as the viewers, holding thumbs, because we thought it's a cynical offence.
Sure.
If it's a cynical offence, Rob, if the ref doesn't see it as a cynical offence, the 2 ARs doesn't see it as a cynical offence, the TMO, I don't think we should dwell on it.
Well, so I think even Kobus Reinach had something similar in the game, but you got to make the call a call and make sure that it's not interference.
But also technology now is that the TMO can get involved if the referee has missed that.
Yeah.
So for me is, if I look around, there were 4 or 8 eyes looking at one transgression, which was not deemed to be a yellow card. Rightfully so. If it was a yellow card, South Africa would have played for the next 20 minutes with just lesser players. Remember nowadays that the red card is not the full game, Rob. It's only 20 minutes. So we would have come back and been able to have the full complement of 15 players. But I think discipline. We made too much errors. Let's talk about it. Errors, we were frustrated. We thought that we're letting this one slip. We thought Argentina is just here to make sure that they don't give us the win. And we sort of have egg on our face in London, in Twickenham. So also, once again, credit to them, Rob. I think we must give credit to the Argentinians for giving us a good game post the game in Durban. And that's why players sort of, at the end, finally pulled it through with 29-27.
You use the major word, you say post. And at times, again, we don't look at what Lady Luck does for us, Mike, because it's exactly that. The post came through. Santi Carreras, with 2 minutes to go, hits the pole, it doesn't go through. So when you look at it from a mathematical perspective, those points would have made a big difference in the end in terms of who wins and loses.
Yeah, look, and guys, let's remember we were at one stage 13-3 down. And the Springboks, a little bit of a problem in the Rugby Championship is how they've started. If we remember, the only time we started really fantastically was at Ellis Park against the Wallabies, and we ended up losing the game. And the Springboks start badly, and that's one of the things obviously Russie's going to be talking to them about before the November tour is the sluggish starts, but you always see how the Springboks fight back.
What do you attribute that to? I know you're going somewhere else with your thought pattern, Mike, but what causes that start, which is not the way we end?
I think if Russie knew that, if Tony Brown knew that, why are we not getting out of the blocks? It's not entirely apparent. But what is true is that the Springboks have a belief in their systems, a belief in their patterns, and they keep fighting through. The one thing that I just wanted to, where I was going earlier, was after that sluggish start, suddenly the Springboks started to come right. They get on top. They get on top on the set pieces. They start to score tries. We were 27-13 ahead, and they should have really then just accelerated through to the death. And then we've got this problem where we're still wrestling with building our attack but compromising our defense. And what I'm talking about here, and I'm sorry to say, old Cheslin for the second game in a row, give us a little bit of an own goal there, where that long pass of his was never on. But, they've got this thing in their minds. Tony's telling us to attack, so let's have a go. A couple of seasons ago, they would never have done that. They would never have done that under Jacques Nienaber. So they're still wrestling with a few things regarding their game plan, because that was never on, and that was 7 points. And suddenly it was game on for Argentina. And those are the things the Boks have got to polish up now on the end of your tour. When is it on? When is it not on? We've got to stop this thing of gifting opposition points.
All right, 011-883-8947. Otherwise, send us a WhatsApp voice note. We'll take any questions or comments as we slide into that Rugby Championship conversation after this.
#MSW live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live at the same time. #MSW.
Get ready for the burger that bites back. Introducing the Ham Burner. Double the beef, triple the trouble, stacked with heartburn, dripping with indigestion, and topped off with a fiery hit of excess acid. Luckily, there's once a day A Vogel Multiforce, packed with alkaline minerals and ISCH22 that balance excess stomach acid. Because your food shouldn't bite back. Multiforce, your once-a-day force against excess acidity.
Life is full of moments. Some are small.
Surprise, I got you a matcha latte.
Some are big.
Surprise, we're having twins.
For all those moments, there's the new Haval H6 SUV with a spacious interior and voice command. It's built for big moments. Get it from only 6,699 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Dlala Madluli, coach. The games are out. Who are you betting on?
Dlala Madlamin, top player. On Sports Stake 4, I'm going with the strongest defense.
Nice one, coach. But I'm going with the goals.
What's that, Coach Amanda? Now it's up to the fans to Dala, or rather Dlala what they must. Dlalu 4.
Sports Stake 4 for only R2. Pick win, lose or draw for 4 games and you could win. Play at any participating National Lottery retailer. Enjoy a game. Panda push up play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 43503. Like 29-year-old Sana, who now pays an incredibly low 796 Rand a month for her 2025 Jatura Dashing. With Outsurance Comprehensive, you get 24/7 roadside assistance in case you break down, run out of petrol, lock your keys in the car, and more. SMS out to 43503. Get used to getting more. After switching, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exter. Not an Outsurance client yet? Get a quick and easy quote today. If Outsurance can't beat what you're paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 43503. That's out to 43503. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
A simple recharge sounds like this. But when you top up with a Telkom WhatsApp bundle this summer, it could sound like this.
It's 30 degrees today, the perfect day for a braai. You've arrived at your destination.
Summer's better in and outside the group chat with Telkom. Get a monthly 1 gig WhatsApp bundle with voice and video calling for 30 Rand. Get a Telkom SIM. Dial *180# to opt in and tap to win your share of 400 million Rand in prizes, including one of 5 Toyota Starlets when you recharge with 25 Rand or more. T's and C's apply. Telkom. Possible begins here.
From match analysis and injury updates,
Sometimes you got to take 1 step back to take 2 steps forward.
to bold predictions,
Why are you asking prediction? Why don't you start with predictions?
nothing is offside.
You like a sangoma to me, pa.
How? Tell me. Nothing is off the table with Robert Marawa on Room Dividers on Marawa Sports Worldwide. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Here we go to David and Parkwood. David, good evening.
We are not asking a lot, Mr. Marawa. We are asking the hierarchy to use the same yardstick that they used to fire Coach Mangala.
Tell me about that yardstick. Remind us. Maybe some people have forgotten.
We were told that the problem was the performance and secondly the style of play of Mamelodi Sundowns. And Coach Mangala didn't play the Mamelodi Sundowns way, which I don't know which is Mamelodi Sundowns way.
12 seconds. What style of play can you see at Sundowns?
I don't know that Mamelodi Sundowns, Mr. Marawa. In 120 minutes, we had only 1 shot on target. Let me be cynical, Mr. Marawa, and then I don't know Nkechi's demographic and Mutiwa's demographic, and Coach Mangala was fired because of the demographic, not because of performance.
Last year's beaten finalists, Mamelodi Sundowns, have been beaten in the first round.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Not positive, Mike. Mike is not positive. It took 30 minutes.
Get inside the action and huddle.
Can't just attack and attack and attack.
With Robert Marawa on Room Dividers.
The Room Dividers?
The Room Dividers. On Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Kulumana Spangale Nomkwan. Concerning our Springboks, Mr. Marawa, I think I don't have much to say except to congratulate the boys and the coach for doing so well in the past couple of weeks. I think our team is in a very, very good moment. So, yeah, let's hope they will keep their form for the rest of the year because there is still a lot to play for in terms of rugby. So, yeah, thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show as always.
Good evening, Marawa, and good evening to Room Dividers and MSW family. Marawa ngusiye Joburg. Marawi andothusa ke lento that next season we won't have a rugby championship. Yes, I know many of us enjoy the rivalry that we have against New Zealand. But you cannot tell me that the games that we had this season, and including last season of the Rugby Championship against Australia and against Argentina, were not entertaining. The games of Argentina versus Australia were not entertaining. The games of Argentina versus New Zealand were not entertaining. Those were the best matches that we've watched this season in rugby. They were better than watching the Six Nations. So, andiyazi into yoba, where does this decision comes from? And it's a wrong decision, mna Rob, xa ndinoyithetha ngolo hlobo. As a supporter of rugby, it's a wrong decision. Secondly, there were rumors that we were going to add, instead of kuthiwe iyaphela ngoku le nto ithethwayo, we were going to add Japan, on the championship. What happened to those rumors? And those rumors, I think they came just after Argentina joined. I think a year or two after Argentina joined, and they were improving. So what happened to those rumors? Ngosi Rob.
Sia in Joburg, thank you so much indeed. Well, Mr. Thando Banana does always his input here. We heard from Mike Greenaway when he introduced the topic of Rugby Championship being done away with. But I think he also gave us a heads up about 2 weeks ago when you mentioned the All Blacks are coming into the country and that it's going to be a feast. So some people excited, were even saying about where is this going to be staged? Will it be FNB? Will it be Ellis Park? And so on. But now that it's a reality, as unpacked by Mike earlier on, where do you stand?
Rob, first and foremost, the British and Irish Lions, it's a production since 1888. Some 130-something years of them as those nations coming together and visiting New Zealand, South Africa, Australia. 2, South Africa has 104 years of playing against the All Blacks in terms of the history that's out there. Let's leave our history. What is important is the game is developing at a very high pace. The chairman of World Rugby, Brett Robinson, is from Australia. I'm sure he's devastated because this is happening under his watch, first and foremost. So I feel and hear them. But South Africa has taken a stance, and New Zealand, for the betterment of both countries. New Zealand have been posting losses, millions of New Zealand dollars in their financials. This will be the same as the British and Irish Lions, where both parties, everything made will be in one pot. It will be halved at the end of it all, a full 8 weeks. I think also we need to also inform our listeners, Rob, that the 3 test match will happen in South Africa, quite rightfully so. There's a 4th one, which will be played at a neutral venue. So it's actually 4 test matches. All the franchises will play against the All Blacks as a warm-up leading up to the 3 test match, and also a SAA side. So if you look at the revenue that these 2 countries are making, and in particular in South Africa, it's going to be a huge broadcast rights, sponsors, etc., etc. It's a payday for both these countries. And also remember, we are fighting against the Japanese yen, we are fighting against the euro, we are fighting against the pound.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen with Thomas du Toit leaving Bath, not going to France and earning the biggest paycheck ever, to come back to South Africa. We want South Africa to be in that position, Rob. We cannot then, understandably, that Argentina, Australia are needed. But Rob, it is just a matter of we're taking a little bit of a break. We're trying this for the first time. I said earlier, 1888, the British and Irish did that. We're only doing it in 2025 against our rivals. The last time we failed to beat New Zealand, 1996, Sean Fitzpatrick was the captain in South Africa with that full-on tour. So there's still that history that we have. So I'm of the view that this must happen. We need the golden pot in South African rugby to be at a very healthy region in terms of profits. We've got 14, 15 unions around the country. We need to make the game accessible. We need to really drive revenue so that we keep our own players and play them well. So from my point, Rob, I hear what you're talking about the Six Nations, but we've got to make sure we've got enough resources. South Africa, a couple of years ago, no one wanted to touch it. Rob.
Yeah, I
they
mean,
were the cheapest.
Sia did say that even, you know, it feels good to win because a couple of years back, nobody really wanted to watch them play. Nobody actually saw them winning anything. So right now is a fertile time. So maybe let me come in here and bring both of your views that anybody else that's listening is that does that gain public appeal though? Yeah, sure, we'll fill up the stadium. Everybody wants to watch the All Blacks, But like you rightfully say, I mean, when Schmidt came through, you know, Aussies were struggling, not able to qualify, you know, to the knockout stages for the first time in a Rugby World Cup. But now it's an Aussie team that was able to beat South Africa. It's an Aussie team now that is really brimming with such young, talented, I mean, there's the older and the younger generation. And I know Tando says we take a little bit of a break, but it's almost going to be 2 years. It's going to be next year and in the World Cup.
Yeah. So what happens to Argentina and Australia next year? That is the question that everyone wants to know. We know that South Africa and New Zealand are going to have this blockbusting series. And Tanda, as you said, there's going to be a fourth test. And the fourth test apparently going to be at Twickenham. So they're now taking it there to get some more dollars or pounds.
Well, I mean, that's a South African province over there, as we saw over the weekend.
And as I said earlier, this whole thing was muted a while ago when the other two in the rugby nations hadn't come through, but now they have. So now SANZA are sitting with this issue of what now? We've already agreed to the greatest rivalry series. What now about Australia and Argentina? And what I can tell you is that SA Rugby told us today that there is going to be a decision now about what to do about Australia and Argentina. They are going to make an announcement confirming the greatest rivalry series and then going to say what is going to become of the other two. Are they going to play against each other? You know, but they have every right to feel aggrieved, you know, that they've come to the top table, they've performed, and now they're relegated again.
Yeah. But also, Rob, is Australia and Argentina are not in the same, they don't have the same rugby richness as the both countries. In Argentina, we only know them having the Jaguars, which predominantly had the Argentinian players and some playing overseas. So they can't replicate what we have here in the country where 4 franchises, Durban, Pretoria, Lions, Cape Town, will do the warm-up games. It's difficult to do that route. What they could do, I'm not sure, and this is what I'm hearing, is that because of the Pacific nations where you have Fiji, Tonga, you bring in a Japan, they could do something along those lines.
But it's not the same as what we've seen now. I mean, the Pumas can say that last year they were able to beat the 3.
Rob, playing tier 2
might
nation.
not have been the same.
Also, Rob, in our incoming, the third test has to be against a tier 2 nation. It's also not great for me to play against Georgia, but we have to develop the game. It's also not great to play Spain. I want to play in England. Next year we have an incoming tour, which is England, and I'm hoping that is going to be a 3-test series and not a 2 with a tier 2, because I feel we need to play strength versus strength. But because World Rugby wants to grow the game, I'm of the view Argentina, Japan, you can bring in an Italian side as well. They can be part of something from there, but you cannot stop this greatest rivalry.
So who is more sharpened going into a Rugby World Cup post 2026? Which of the nations go into a World Cup sharper, probably more dominant, based on the build-up to the World Cup and this new scenario that we're facing?
Yeah, but Australia was also sharper, Rob, against the Irish and Lions. So they benefited and they beat us. We could see that sharpness. So why can't we have the same sharpness going to the World Cup? That's my say.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, so I just feel that the better performing you are in World Rugby, the more favoured you are. And the more it favours you on every level going into World Cups, of course. But the way I would summarise it is Argentina and the way they've been treated and how they played and how they don't deserve to be treated going forward. They remind me of the Free State Cheetahs. The Cheetahs were once at the top table of South African rugby, and then it came to Super Rugby participation. No, you're not good enough, we're dropping you out. Then they get foisted off to the URC or the Pro 14, whatever it's called. Now the top 4 unions want to move in there. Sorry, Cheetahs, you out again. Argentina are exactly the same. It's if you haven't got the commercial pulling power of the top unions, you just get shunted away.
Out, yeah. And the irony is that was Rassie Erasmus's pathway as well. Cheetahs to Bulls.
Good evening, Marawa, to the Marawa faithful and our special guest, Robert. Just one, I wouldn't say question from me, just one observation from my side. I hear the guys speaking about Rassie doubling up the positions, having guys being able to do multiple different positions. That then gives you a bigger bracket of players, or it actually gives you more men than your numbers give, because guys can do 2 to 3 positions. I want to know from the guys. Back in the day, we had the utility backs. A lot of the guys where they played different positions and loose forwards, slotting in where they are needed. And then after a while, it changed where we got specialists in guys focusing on that position and, tying down that position. But Rassie is slowly moving away from that, doubling up the guys. And I want to know from the guys, do they think the world will follow? Because whatever we do, guys normally run to World Rugby and complain about what South Africa is doing. But I think in this case, allowing teams to actually, guys to specialize in different positions will maybe change the face of rugby again. So what's the opinion on that, guys? Do they think it would work, having guys being able to play different positions and not focusing on one position? Or is it better to have guys that are strictly specialists in that position? What do they think? What's the benefit to both? Thank you.
You can give me the shortest answer to that because of time.
Rob, front rower for me, specialist position. It's just that a young Hendrik Wessels, in his junior days, played as a prop for Great Bloom. So therefore, at the Bulls, he learned then to play hooker. So Rassie could use him up front, but he's a specialist front rower player. Same as Thomas du Toit. He was a loose head, now he's become a tight head. The only thing is Dion Fourie as well. Rob, he was a hooker before he was a flanker. So in those same as Marco. So it's specialist, but who have outgrown that role to play in the loose. That's how it is, but it remains a specialist position.
And a special team, guys, that we've got to celebrate. I think at the end of the day, ahead of any heated conversations, any celebrations, let's remind ourselves of what a special team the Springboks have been. Castle Lager Rugby Championship victories, Freedom Cup, Mandela Challenge Plate, Argentina Cup. What am I leaving out?
They've won all the Southern Hemisphere trophies. They've got it in Cape Town.
They've cleaned it up.
They've cleaned it up, yes.
British and Irish Lions.
Yeah. Guys, I mean, I don't know. It's this kind of era that really excites so many of us in terms of rugby and the potential and what's next. What is next, guys? Next week, Tuesday?
What time?
All right. Do you have a problem with time, Mike, from your side?
Where are we going? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm just saying that there's so many different... Do we bring somebody into the studio? Remember, this is everybody's show.
Why can't we celebrate a guy like Mzwandile Stick, who it was his 100th test cap or test match as a coach?
Are you bringing him into the studio next week?
Why can't we bring him? And then he tells us from 2016, when he came in with Alistair Coetzee, there was a slight break. Then he came in with Rassie, and on Saturday, it was his 100th test
You've
match.
got his number? Are you going to phone him? Are you going to make sure that Mzwandile Stick is here?
I don't have enough airtime unless you do something about that.
We'll help you, Mike.
Unless you do something with that.
And what we want to know is why this 5-test series coming up in November is so vital to the Springboks.
All right, so the president of SARU as a potential and Mzwandile Stick as a potential. All I'm saying is it's cooking here, guys. You guys are the best chefs ever. Thank you so much indeed. Mike, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you with this gentleman next to you. My goodness, we need a prayer meeting.
I'm wearing my Sharks shirt.
The Sharks shirt.
He's not allowed, Rob.
He's not allowed.
He's biased.
No, he saw you wearing the Bulls jersey the other day.
Where?
Yeah, no, the other day. The big
Which
jacket.
Other day?
The other day. There was a big Bulls jacket. You could tell. You never bought that.
Yeah, but I bought it, Mr. Price.
It was a freebie, boss. All right, let me tell you guys, you can tune in again next Tuesday for the Room Dividers right here on the hashtag MSW Marawa Sports Worldwide. Probably brought to you by FNB, from grassroots to greatness, on hashtag MSW. 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. And you can also tune in again tomorrow for Marawa Sports Worldwide, minus these two. Proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets.
The thrill, the drama, the action.
Let the game begin.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW.